And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It progresses from there in a hilarious manner. I think this is quite a funny show. I enjoyed it. I'll watch more. Anyone else agree or disagree?
That's the quickest review.
I just thought I'd get straight to the
That
point.
sounds like the most unenthusiastic way to say you like a show I've ever heard.
No, you don't. Good evening and welcome to Is It a Bicycle? Season 8, Episode 14, the original and bestest ever TV and movie podcast. My name is Stephen Wrigley and I'll be your host for this evening. Beside me I have a man who said, no, honestly, it was a long-distance relationship, not a restraining order. It's Mike McDonough. Also beside me is a lady who said, newsflash, ladies, men are settling for you too. It's Shona, I love Canada, O'Flaherty. Live from Vegas, we have a man who reckons the 5-second rule also applies to soup. It's Sean, I love cans, Leonard. This week, we hope to discuss some movies in the shape of Furious7 and some TV in the form of Spotless and WeirdLoners. We'll also have some news and some previews in Coming to Bicycle near you. So how are we doing?
Hi, guys.
Fantastic, Steve.
Good. Sean, how are you doing?
Welcome back, Sean.
Oh, just great. Very good.
Good.
You need to tell us about your absence, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
My abstinence. I feel that is a topic I cannot discuss.
So tell us.
So, I went to San Francisco so that I could look at WrestleMania and see some of the sights and stuff. On the personal side, what was very interesting was I went to a gay bar in the Castro region of San Francisco. 6 guys hit on me in the same bar. 50% of them used the same opening line.
Ooh, what's that?
Hello.
How tall are you?
Oh, no way.
Well, you are pretty tall,
That was
Sean.
their... I know I am pretty tall. It's almost like that's the first thing that would come into anyone's head. You know what I mean? Like it was very weird. And it was kind of like there were some guys where it was very flattering and that was lovely. And they bought me some drinks and we talked about our careers or about me being Irish. And then there was just a guy who touched my bum and didn't say anything except he looked at me while he grew his mustache a little bit more. And I was like, no, thank you for that. It was a very interesting slice of life, one that I've been exposed to before, so it was interesting to see. And then on to Santa Clara, where WrestleMania 31 was being held.
Hold on, Sean. I think I should point out, Sean, I think the first time I met you, I might have asked how tall you are. Should I have also asked for your phone number?
And you should have patted his bum.
It's okay. They weren't looking for my phone number anyway, so it's fine. It's no big deal. But so WrestleMania, there was a lot of worry, as always with WrestleMania. There was a lot of worry about stuff like, were they going to fill the stadium? Are they going to break the attendance record? Because they always aim to do that, and keep on going. And the big worry was their last fight. Everyone had been cheering for the previous month for the bad guy, and not the guy that they wanted to everyone to like. So it was interesting how they were going to come back from that. So it was actually a 6-hour event, because it had a 2-hour pre-show, which we attended as well. And it was actually really, really well done. They got 76,600 or so people, so they broke the attendance record for Levi Stadium. So well done to them on that.
Wow.
They trended worldwide on Twitter 142 times, which is a record. And they had some really great matches and some great spots happen, including managing to work their final match perfectly in such a way that the crowd went home pretty happy as opposed to rioting. So that's pretty cool. Big surprise that people didn't really expect was Triple H and Stephanie McMahon go to announce the attendance record, talk about how great they are. Well, and we're like, something's got to happen. If you smell it out! And The Rock comes out, and everyone's freaking out, and then The Rock's in the ring, and The Rock starts making fun of Triple H, talk about their old rivalry, and how does he want to go 1-on-1 with the great one? And it was great. And then, I was like, no way, they're going to fucking fight. And then Triple H is like, I don't need to prove anything to you. I'm amazing, so fuck you. And then I was like, ooh, shit, they're not going to fight. That would be terrible. And then Stephanie made fun of Dwayne Johnson a lot. And then Dwayne Johnson made fun of her. Then she hit him. She fucking hit The Rock right in his face. And And then she was like, what are you gonna do, Rock? You gonna hit a woman? I know you would never hit a woman. So The Rock gets out of the ring, right? And he's about to walk away. Stephanie McMahon's like, okay, bye-bye now. Yeah, head on down to the back there, Dwayne. Go make another movie. Okay, go make another film. And he turns around and he walks around the ring a little bit. And he happens to stop right next to Ronda Rousey. And he looks at her. And because Ronda Rousey had been shown as being in the front row approximately 2.5 hours before this, about 20,000 people were already going, Ronda Rousey, Ronda. So she hops out, she gets in the fucking ring, and they proceed to give a promo against the two. And then The Rock just beats the shit out of Triple H. And then Ronda Rousey hip tosses Triple H, almost breaks Stephanie McMahon's arm by giving her a really basic arm control hold, and then tosses her out of the ring. It was great. Loads of people were chanting,
Wow.
Ronda's gonna kill you, Ronda's gonna kill you. It was good. And she's definitely going to be back for more stuff. She's definitely going to come back to the WWE for some more stuff. It was interesting.
Awesome.
It was really well done pay-per-view. That was one of the big moments for me.
I think that could well be the first time that a crowd has ever cheered for Ronda Rousey instead of against her.
Now, Mike, be nice. So, did you see anything that wasn't on the list this week?
I'm just keeping up with 12 Monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm up, I think, 6 or 7 on it now.
How's that going?
I shouldn't like it, but I just keep watching it.
I know, yeah.
Because it's just my kind of thing.
Yeah. What about Fortitude? You're still with that?
I got up to 8, and I'm saving the last 3 for a bumper.
All right.
A bumper evening.
Okay.
I'm watching Fortitude.
Oh, yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you up to date?
I think I'm one episode behind. I don't think I've seen last week's
Tends to
episode
get
yet.
grosser and grosser, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm. Anyone get to Outlander? Started back this week?
No.
No,
not yet.
I haven't got to it yet, but it's on my list.
we-
Poldark? Anyone still with that?
My mother is.
Yeah. So are we, actually. Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it is. It's really good. Yeah. And I'm sure you're as your mother was saying earlier, it was Aidan Turner's the big draw.
Yeah, it's really disturbing to see a 120-year-old woman drooling over a man 80 years younger.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the news. Okay, so the first bit this week. Game of Thrones is back.
Yeah.
Sunday night. You know what else is back?
What else?
Silicon Valley on the same night. Bumper night. Can't wait. Can't wait.
And you know what else is back?
Tell us.
Mad Men.
Oh, yeah. So it is. Is it on your...
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And what else do we have? News. Tron 3. Remember we were talking about this. Maybe called Ascension and so on. But Joseph Kosinski will direct again. And Olivia Wilde will be back, Mike. You'll be delighted to hear that.
Oh, I might even watch this.
Yeah, yeah. And
At least the trailer.
in other Mike news, Human Centipede 3 is out on May 22nd.
Don't even talk about it. It's gonna no. I'm not.
Eric Roberts is in it too. Yeah. There's a good story behind this one.
Yeah, that was...
And it's apparently an epic centipede. It's like 500 people. Eric Roberts is a governor of a prisoner, right?
Yeah.
Or of a prison, right? And he has like his second in command is the guy who's in the last centipede. I think that's who he's playing. But it's this prison has had the most riots, the most killings, and blah blah blah. And they're trying to figure out how to keep them in line. So they come up, so they try and think, they try and come up with the worst punishment ever. So they've got half a millipede full of humans.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gross.
Did you guys ever see the Key and Peele sketch about the human centipede thing?
No.
So it starts out as just there's a guy at a restaurant and he notices somebody that he knows that he doesn't want to see him. He's like, oh fuck, and like he goes to try and leave. The guy sees him. He comes over and he goes, wait a minute, Mike, is that you? He's like, yeah, man, yeah. And he's like, we were in a human centipede together. You remember that? And he's just like, yes. I remember that. And they like start having this conversation, and like they keep talking about the third guy. So like one of them is like fondly remembering this incident. It's like, that was so weird. Like that was so crazy. And then at a certain point, the other guy just explodes, and it's like, you were at the front, okay? You were at the front. It was different from me. Okay? It was different from me. And it's really well done. Like they're amazing at having the last word on anything like that. I thought everyone was done with the Human Centipede because it's a stupid idea for a movie and or a torture. It's stupid. It's a lot of work and not a lot of return.
It's more weirdo horror, I think. Yeah, so
weirdo horror. You give me a syringe, 6 band-aids, and 15 people. I'll figure out a weird. I'll figure it out.
Tell you what, figure it out. Come back to us.
No, I think that's insight into Sean's mind that we don't need.
Yeah. Last Man on Earth scores season 2. Believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I've been watching that show, you know.
I've got to episode
They've managed
4.
Yeah.
Have you got
so you've seen some of the way it is that they're developing like more option for stories and characters and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
Well done. I like it. Mm-hmm. Actually, Steve, just one quick thing on that. The more I watch it, the more I realize that while it is a comedy, it's actually kind of really dark. Like, it's managed to every now and then there's almost like a pulse of this dark stuff where it's like, well, he was alone for like a year or something. Like, it was really shitty of a life for him. And then, you know, he was going to kill himself. And it's just, that keeps like pulsing out a little bit every now and then. And I've got a feeling that we're going to see some stuff about the kind of person he was before. It's tough to not feel for the guy, even though he's kind of shit. Like, he's actually, to hang out with him, he might need to be the last man on Earth. It's really well done.
Yeah. What else I see? Django. Now, this is the original 1966 French series. Which is what Django Unchained was loosely based on. They're going to remake it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The French version.
Yeah. So, I believe it will be in English, I think, this time.
Oh, okay.
But, it's up for remake. So, it's spaghetti western stuff. You know, those westerns that you don't like, Jonah. Yeah.
Well.
we'll have to have a look. Yeah. See what you think.
Better get it on the list.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I had for that. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to first of our TV, Spotless. Mike, tell us about Spotless.
Spotless is the story of a guy who cleans up crime scenes, and he does that quite well. Like with Bleach and stuff, getting rid of bits of brain. And he has some financial problems, and he has a dodgy brother. And much in the way that our friend from Breaking Bad kind of got himself in a bit of spot of bother and had to go on the other side of the tracks, our hero in Spotless is also forced to have a look at other options to generate income to support his family. And what a lovely family they are.
Yeah. So what do we think of this, Shauna?
What did we think of this?
Yeah.
I'm glad that you made the Breaking Bad comparison, Mike, because that was kind of what I was thinking too. It's like kind of likable guy that seems to find himself in dark situations he'd rather he not be in. His brother seems like a right asshole. One thing I don't understand, because the TV show kind of walks this line between English and French. Like, the opening credits are in French.
Yeah.
The dialogue of the show is all in English. The texting between the wife and the husband who runs the cleaning business is in French.
Yeah.
And the flashbacks to childhood are in French with no subtitles.
Yeah.
So how come the two brothers who grew up together, when they're alone, don't talk in French? They talk in English. That's the one thing that's kind of bothered me. I'm like, guys, talk in French. Anyways, I think that the show did a good job of kind of slowly introducing you to the protagonist's world. At first, you kind of see him cleaning up a scene and explaining, what they do and why and how, and you see a bit of further intrigue, with his mistress, or is it his therapist? A bit of role play happening.
Yeah.
then when you see him with his brother, you see another dynamic there. You know, that he seems like the good brother seems to be, you know, a good guy and is very reluctant to help his brother, but he's kind of forced into it. And then shit got real in the last 10 minutes of the episode. So I thought it was interesting. I found it was a good pilot to watch.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have watched any more of it. And then the last 10 minutes I just went, oh yeah. yeah, I'm in. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely watch more, at least one more of
Right.
this. I think it's got great potential. Now, whether it really digs the hooks in deep is another thing. So,
Yeah. You'd want it to almost go the Breaking Bad way of, like, you know, him being contacted to use his particular professional talents in various questionable ways.
yeah.
Because if I see more of that brother storyline, I'm going to get really pissed off.
Yeah.
Because that just annoyed me.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'd say that'll be that he'll sort of move on, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope
and it'll
so.
be more about the other story arc. But you know those guys from the other side of the tracks, let's say, that they meet up with, they were hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought they were brilliant. They were the real comic relief. I was just like, oh, thank God it's funny. Yeah, in places, you know. So yeah, I thought they were great characters, and his wife. Thought she was great too, and there's another story going on there, I'm sure.
There is,
Yeah.
and they did a good job, I think, of hinting at more without actually having to go into her character yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, his brother thought she was great too.
yeah,
That was creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was kind of weak to start with. I wasn't feeling any of the characters, and then, you know, I wasn't sure, is it a drama or what is this going to be? And then the violence breaks out, and I really like the way they handle the violence. And then you see the dark comedy coming through, and I thought, oh, okay, I did not expect this.
yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like it. So it was a slow burner for a pilot, but a cracking ending. I have to give it that.
Yeah.
I think they did a good, like, I mean, if this is your kind of show, you know, dark humor and, you know, this kind of violence, and
Definitely
the Breaking
much, yeah,
Bad kind of
definitely.
thing. I think they did a good job with the pilot in terms of, like, they give you just enough intrigue that there's a lot of questions asked, and you'd watch more to kind of see where certain storylines go, like, you know, where the protagonist, what happens with him in his career, what happens with his money problems, you know, what's up with his wife? Is there a story there? Is something else happening in her life? The kids didn't really play much of a role, did they? I think they're kind of just there to make your man into a protagonist, into a family man, rather.
Well, they'll obviously be targets at some stage during the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The weak link. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, had I just randomly switched this on, I probably would have switched it off after 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that I had to watch it for this that I stayed to the
Forced
end.
into it.
Yeah, and I got the benefit of the good ending.
Yeah.
So I would criticize it as a pilot in terms of not hooking you from, you know, scene
Earlier,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's true, the way that the episode ends, you don't really see coming, which is great if you stick it out to the end of the episode, but if you don't, you might lose interest much earlier. Yeah. For me, who's not really into violence so much, when it got to that part of the end of the episode, I'm like, oh, that's where this show is going. No, thank you.
I'm going to give this thriller. Like I say, it has great potential.
Yep, a lot of potential. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Thriller for me.
Do you know, I'll give it a thriller as well, because I think it did a good job of hooking people in, and I think that the main character did a good job of being kind of quietly charismatic, with a lot of silent, broody stares, which can be hard to do.
He was a bit broody, all right.
He
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot in his mind.
Yeah. Big eyebrows.
Very intense young chap.
He has secrets he won't tell you.
A tortured soul.
So I think...
Did we need that many flashbacks, though, in fairness?
Not really, yeah.
I like how the end
We
of
get
the
it. Something happened to you when you were a kid.
But I like how like the end of the episode kind of comes full circle to how the episode opens, but you kind of understand a different context.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, it's true.
So
Yeah.
it's a thriller for me.
Okay. Jeepers, the streak is on. Sean, you missed it last week. We had a streak.
Hmm?
We had a complete streak last week.
Really?
Yeah.
And was that when me and Mark were not around to muddy the waters?
Pretty
That's
much.
right, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
You guys weren't there to fuck it up.
Well, actually, because it was just Steve and Mike here, they were much easier for me to hypnotize
And
and
manipulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
She kept saying things like "free chocolate if you agree with me."
God damn it.
Yeah.
I'll never stoop to bribery.
Okay, let's talk about our movie, Furious 7.
Fast and Furious 7.
Is it not just called
No,
Furious 7?
Furious 7 is the name of this film.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's called Fast.
Furious 7 is...
I bought a ticket
Furious
to Fast
7.
and Furious 7, and then when the car's driving on the road in the opening credits, it says Fast and Furious 7. I saw it with my eyeballs.
It's just called Furious 7.
Really?
It could be called different things in different places in the world.
Did
but,
I go see the wrong movie?
It was Fast 5, Fast 6, Furious 7. It was a whole thing. They're trying to do marketing. It's
Oh.
Complicated.
I honest to God. Oh, anyways, sure. All right.
Sean.
Were there cars in the one you saw, Sean?
Yeah, there were some
Yeah.
cars.
Okay,
it was
that's
probably
right.
the right one.
Yeah. Sean,
And
tell
some
us about
beefcake.
Furious 7.
Furious 7 follows the events of the previous film, Fast 6, where Dominic Toretto and his former FBI buddy Brian and their family of racers, criminals, and Robin Hood-esque thieves, they track down this guy and they like beat the shit out of him a lot. His face got all melted up. They destroyed the plane thing. It was really cool. But that guy has a brother, and it's Jason Statham. And he's like, I'm gonna kill you. So it's about Jason Statham trying to kill all of them. And then they're like, oh, we need to be able to find him. But thankfully, a covert operations group has taken an interest in that, so that they get to do some spy stuff as well. And there's a bunch of missions, and they have to stay alive and protect their family. No more funerals.
So what did we think?
You seriously asking me?
Yeah, Mike. Let her rip.
Well, I have a long track record of Fast 1 to 6 of hating these fucking movies. But it's got The Rock in it, and that's always the X factor, because The Rock can't make a bad movie.
6 minutes of rock makes a movie.
Yeah. And so it kind of just messes with my brain, because I want to criticize every aspect of the movie, and then I just get a flash of Dwayne Johnson in my face saying, you will like this movie.
Yeah.
He's the people's champion. So, yeah, I can't give a proper fucking review of this movie.
Well, look,
it's a shit movie with Dwayne Johnson in
Look,
it.
it's a mind. Look. We kind of have to, define it. It's a mindless action movie for a
Yes.
start. You can't really look at this as a serious.
Mhm.
Like, who was it? Who said it was Oscar worthy? Someone said it a few
Dwayne
weeks ago.
Johnson said that.
Was it?
Vin Diesel.
Oh, Vin Diesel.
Vin
Oh,
Diesel
did he?
did.
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I actually
Vin
feel a
Diesel
lot
did.
better knowing The Rock didn't make that
Yeah,
claim.
yeah. So, Oscar for delusional thinking, maybe. But yeah, it's not an Oscar winner. It's probably got the best ever action movie punch-up in it, which was the first one. The Rock and Jason Statham go at it.
I agree.
That was fantastic.
That was
Yeah.
great fighting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But then
Mhm.
there's another one later on that goes on, and it reminded me of Peter Griffin in Family Guy with the chicken,
Oh, yeah.
or it just goes on, and then they flick away to something else that's happening at the same time, and they come back 10 minutes later, and the lads are still at it,
Yeah.
and they're still at, and they flick
Still
away,
fighting.
and then they come back, and the lads are still at it, and it just goes on and on. It's ridiculous. Like
Remind
it's
me, who was that fight between?
Vin Diesel and Jason Statham.
Oh, yeah. Is
Yeah.
that the rooftop one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that went on and on.
Did
Yeah.
it ever?
Can I make the point though that that's editing? They're not actually saying that the fight goes on for the entire length of all of the scenes that we watched. We were just shown moments from the fight, and it probably lasted only the moments that we saw. So approximately 2 minutes.
Realizing that, even if it was edited all put together, it's a very, very, very long fight. What else was there?
Was it just me, or did you feel a bit shortchanged on the lack of gear changing in this movie?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah.
You know, you come to expect a certain amount of gear changing.
At least 24 gears in each
Yeah.
car. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was none of that though this time.
Yeah, like so sometimes you see
Pity.
people driving cars without changing gear at all,
Yeah.
almost like they had an automatic.
Yeah. And there's only one instance of NOS as well, which is
What's NOS?
Oh, that
nitrous
was amazing.
oxide button.
I leapt out of my seat in that fucking sequence. That was so fucking good.
Kurt Russell, fantastic.
Good to see him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since.
My first thought was good to see him again. My
Tarantino
second
movie.
thought
Escape
was
from New York.
No, sorry, what?
my second thought was like, man, he's getting old.
Kurt Russell will never get old.
No.
He still has nice eyes, but his neck is very wrinkly.
Getting the old chicken neck thing.
Wow. Getting
Sorry.
personal here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't mind her, Kurt.
This is a fucking 80s action legend you were fucking dissing here.
I know. Listen.
Okay.
This is a place for Kurt Russell in my heart. But let me move on to other.
You youngsters, you just have no fucking respect. That's what's wrong with you.
My biggest critique of this movie, is, apart from the plot, is the amount of sentimentality scenes and how often and how long they last for. There's a shitload of funerals,
Yeah.
but there's a whole lot of, oh my God, I think I remember who you are, or who am I? Oh my God, I'm dead. Oh no, I'm not. Oh my God, I remember who you are.
Speaking of Steve,
That kind of thing.
that sentimentality led to the worst example of CPR I have ever seen that would be sure to kill anybody in any other film. Like, the approach was all wrong. Don't save him with mouth-to-mouth and CPR. Save him with fucking nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's not how that shit works. I call bullshit. But since I'm calling bullshit, how come just because these guys like cars a lot and they drive them intensely with the furrowed brow, it makes them immune to things that kill any other person in real life, like falling off of a cliff down a mountain, for example?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of.
Or like,
But the cars were made to withstand such egregious acts of violence because they planned ahead for the chaos of the driving.
They knew
right?
there'd be a
Ludicrous.
cliff fall or something.
what about like head-on collision type of car aggression, where both people just get out and crink their neck and then they continue staring angrily at each other? I just found it
They're
really.
not people. They're not people. They're Jason Statham and Vin Diesel.
They're action heroes.
Yeah. Do you think honestly that a mere car crash could kill Jason Statham?
I found it redonk.
Well, Vin Diesel, you know, he is a super. He wears the black sleeveless T-shirt thing. That's his costume. Did you notice, like, when they're going in with the SWAT team, everyone's wearing SWAT gear. He's there in the sleeveless T-shirt because no bullets can penetrate me.
I did notice that. But also in real life, Jason Statham versus Vin Diesel, like, that is not a contest. Jason Statham can stare down anybody he'd like, but when he gets punched by Vin Diesel, he will die.
And what about being punched by The Rock?
Or by The
Yeah.
Rock.
I really wish that Mark was here to back me up on this. But Jason Statham actually knows how to fight people, whereas Vin Diesel is a large man.
Yeah.
Like that's the real difference between them. Jason Statham can elbow your nose into where your brain lives, send you a bill, return to sender, and that sender is God because you're dead now. Vin Diesel is just a guy who can check his own reflection in his own skull. I mean, like I'm telling you, I'm perfectly happy with the way those fights worked. It was the best version of it was when The Rock and Statham were fighting. Because obviously Statham was going to hit him a lot more often, but if The Rock got his hands on him and actually got to tackle him, the rock bottom, which does occur in this film, it was just good to see contrasting fighting styles in that way, with a big guy who knows how to throw punches, and that's mostly it, but at least he knows what he's doing. And Jason Statham knows how to do almost everything. Whereas Vin Diesel, it's not so much a fighting style, so much as a very gravelly voice turned into a human.
Gravelly voice. I'm glad you mentioned voice, because every time Vin Diesel was on the screen, I only saw Sly Stallone. It's like, this is Sly Stallone 20 years ago. This is his future.
So, say you took all the plot out of this. Or sorry, say you took all the action out of this. Would it be like a 5-minute movie? Probably. Because it all seemed to be set up for action.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about the actual plot, where they are looking to find your man, what the fuck's his name? Shaw, right? Jason Statham's character. And so they have to find this device that will give them this fantastic tool which allows them to see through every camera and smartphone and so on, blah, 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 blah. So they spend all their time looking for this tool, but every time they get close to finding it, who turns up but Shaw? Doesn't matter where in the world they are, Shaw turns. Would they not just fucking stay in the same place? Because he's hunting them. You know, there's no need for all these missions.
I mean, that is discussed in the movie, though, right?
In what way?
Remember?
No.
Well, Vin Diesel says to Kurt Russell, "Why can't I just stay where I am? It shall come to me."
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Vin Diesel said that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I thought that was explained fine. I mean, they could do that, but then more houses would be blown up and people would die.
Right, as
Yeah,
opposed to
the
what
sitting duck
actually
problem.
happened.
which was them blowing up houses. Exactly, Steve.
And people that don't care about dying.
I'm really interested that your critique is that all of the plot was to set up action sequences, whereas my praise for the movie is that every single line was basically setting up an action sequence.
Yeah.
I think, like, that's why I go to see action movies.
Okay.
It's for the action.
Yeah, you're right. We go back to it being a mindless action movie. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
That's what it is.
They had a couple of classic lines in it, all right. When you find him, do me one favor. Don't miss, he says with a straight face.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have friends. I have family. Oh, puke. There's such, it's like such testosterone fucking lines, you know, just alpha male lines.
Yeah.
And they say them with such conviction, and, you know, this is what the way I'd normally talk, you know.
That's why they get the
No,
big
you
bucks,
wouldn't.
Steve.
No, you wouldn't. I know it's the character. I know. Yeah, but still.
One thing I would say about the film is that I haven't seen Fast Furious 1 through 6. So I was completely new to this franchise.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was confused about the presumed understanding of background of people who I saw on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like the opening scene looked like there was some very unnecessary violence to get into a hospital. And I was like, but aren't hospitals public? I don't get why you didn't just walk in and go visit the patient. And I don't understand. There's obviously a backstory to this patient. I don't know who he is, and I don't know what that backstory is. I don't know who the guy is that's visiting him.
Well, you see, it's probably a while since you've been in a busy A&E, isn't it?
I was there 3 weeks ago.
Give me a fucking trolley.
But there was like all these other people that I feel like everybody in this film has a backstory that I didn't know. But, you know, fair enough. I mean, when I went to go see Harry Potter 7, I didn't want them to waste time explaining backstory, because it's like, listen, you've either watched the first fucking 6 and come to watch the 7, or like don't expect us to fill in the blanks for you. So I think I should cop on myself as well. I shouldn't expect that same hand-holding for film number 7. But it was a bit frustrating that like I saw these people who I just didn't know who the fuck they were.
But it can't have taken you long to figure out, okay, this is the good punch guy, and that's the bad punch guy.
Meathead.
Sean, save the movie.
Okay, so first of all, to your point, Shona, on the drive over, one of the people I was going to see it with was like, yeah, I've never seen one of these movies before. So I was like, would you like me to catch you up? And unbeknownst to what was about to be unleashed upon her, she said yes. And I summarized the movies, and they're really, really easy to summarize in a lot of ways. You know, the only real important stuff is that family is a big theme. Racing is the genesis of the movie, because Paul Walker used to be with the FBI, and he went undercover, discovered a family. And then they kind of rehash that plot for 3 movies, and we exclude Tokyo Drift because who gives a fuck? And then The Rock shows up, and it's amazing. And the 6th one was kind of weird because The Rock was friends with them, and that should never have happened. And now we're at the 7th one. But what I found really interesting, because this is the last ride, right? This is the movie that is supposed to be the culmination of all of the Fast and the Furious franchise. Elements, characters, storylines, all that stuff. Everything that I thought was like important and gave in my summary was addressed in this movie. Like, they actually didn't have any like tails to any of the storylines, which I thought was something that they could have not bothered with. But they actually pulled it out. Like, one of the things, like, they had a great visual moment when they're doing their tooling up for the big fight sequence, where Paul Walker's character, Brian, like, made an emphatic decision of like, where he, you know, about who he is. and about who he used to be and how that doesn't matter anymore. And I thought that was well done. And of course, family was going to be a big thing throughout it. And you know what? That was a class opening. I fucking loved that. Everyone in the movie theater, the second that they do Jason Statham, it goes kind of fast while the credits roll, and then it stops for a second because they're going to do something cool, and then it goes fast again, and there's an explosion, and then it goes fast again. Everyone went, yeah! I was like, yeah. I thought it was a great introduction of a bad guy. Like, I thought that was a great, perfect thing. And you were like, not only is this guy badass, but he's going to kill a lot of people. This guy needs to die. Oh my God, it's been a minute and already I'm there. Like, I'm fucking there. And they had this house, which was a big deal throughout, like, pretty much all of the movies, that they wanted to get back to it when they were on the run from the law. It's, you know, the home that, like, Brian or Paul Walker's character was welcomed into. It was like, well, I appreciated using that as a symbol as opposed to going, let's not give a shit about where they stand for any of the shots and yada yada. I like how they incorporated their promotional shit into the story.
Yes.
Like, they had these jokes about Corona, and from the first Fast Furious movie, it was like, holy shit, like, really? That is, I hope they're getting money for this, because you know they are. I don't know, like, The Rock, underutilized, but I think in the sixth movie, trying to get him to be buddy-buddy with the criminals he was chasing throughout the fifth movie, I think that was a misstep. That was like a silly idea. So in the seventh movie, having him just be, you know, in the role that he was playing made perfect sense to me. I liked that. They even introduced another new character for this movie, which was partly so they could get all their cool spy stuff in. So whatever, sure. But two new characters, I guess you could say. Okay, if we're going to talk action sequences, the parachute chase, shootout, fist fight was great. That was my favorite part of maybe the whole movie. That 25 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. That was really cool. And the jokes were really good. Like, I didn't need to laugh in this movie, but the jokes in that sequence were pitch perfect. It was like, put a guy on a plane who's afraid of heights. It worked in the A-Team. It's going to work now. It's fine. So I did appreciate that. All in all, what I would say is that this movie gave me what I wanted every single time I've seen an Expendables movie.
Yeah. So, for what it was, you're saying it's the perfect movie then?
I thought it did an excellent job. Like, given everything that they were trying to do, I think they accomplished it pretty goddamn well. I've never seen more gratuitous butt shots in a film before, so clearly they had at least one guy whose job that was.
That's the thing. The amount of butt shots in Abu Dhabi is like, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, it's not a booty, Debbie. I don't think so. But yeah, I don't know. I think it did everything it was trying to do, especially given the constraints they were under in, like, the real-life circumstances of shooting the film.
Does someone want to go over that? Wow, that was a laborious breath from Steve. I take that means no.
No, I think he's right. From the
Google it, listeners. Steve doesn't want to talk about it.
No, from the right context, from Sean's context. Absolutely, he's right. Yeah, I feel kind of put out that I don't see it that way because he obviously enjoyed it a lot more than I would, you know, and I'm sure Mark would love it as well. I just can't get over the too many coincidences, the lines, I don't know, just not pointless plot, but almost pointless plot because it should have been just like called Action 7, you know, Furious Action 7, you know, for what it is, it's doing exactly what it says in the tin, but just not the tin for me, really. That's all. Yeah. So, are we down to marketing?
And when it comes down to it as well, I think. What I was just going to say is, when it comes to think that what they're trying to do in a lot of ways is sing into the series and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they definitely did, I think, both of those things quite well. So for them, that's winning. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. And I had to say that. That's Mark's favorite quote from Fast and the Furious 1. So we're not going to talk about Paul Walker dying during the
I think we need to. Right? That's what I was asking you to get into, Steve. Sean. Give us a recap.
Well,
sorry, you know about it.
Paul Walker of the things that he needed to film for this. And he died in a car accident on the way to a charity event during this process. Nothing to do with filming, but just while he was still, he needed to film some stuff. So obviously, everyone in the film was affected by it. For example, it had to enlist his brother to film some more scenes that needed to be shot. And use some CG to try and make that, perhaps even using some old scenes of Paul Walker as well. I'm not sure, I think you guys were talking about it earlier before we started, but I'm not sure if they changed how they wanted to end the movie or anything like that. I'm not sure, was that something that you guys read anything about, that they changed the way the movie was going to end based on it? Because it did seem that at least the lines were changed to reflect how it was going to end. You know what I mean?
I did hear there were script changes as a result of that. But I not to spoil the movie, I won't say what the script changes were, but as far as I know, there were changes made to reflect the new circumstances.
And it looks like the
Less conversation.
I thought that they dealt with it as well as they could, both technically on the schedule that they were on, and also it was kind of clever the way that they decided, because they could have done a lot of different things to try and make that, air quotes, work. But I thought it was clever that the way they ended up doing it, and I thought it was a fitting tribute. See, the movie does have a for Paul tag at the end, so I thought it was a fitting tribute if that's what it was intended to be as well.
Him. And I have to say, when I watched the film, I didn't know that Paul Walker had died during the making of the film. So I wasn't aware that there would have been scenes where either his brother was a stand-in or there was digital enhancements or a CG or whatever. And that didn't stick out to me during the film, really. There was maybe one scene where I thought that might have been the case. But for the most, I couldn't tell that they had to be a bit slapdash with the editing. Or obviously it wasn't slapdash. They put a lot of effort into it. It looked really good. I guess my point is that it didn't seem obvious to me at all. So kudos to them for what they ended up doing. And I thought it was really a nice tribute to him that left me crying. When I saw it for Paul, I was like, oh my God, he died in real life. So I got pretty emotional. At a rock Vin Diesel film, everybody. I just want to go on record saying that.
Oh man, you're not going to live that down.
I actually, listeners, I had to tell the guys yesterday after I came out of the film, I didn't know if I'd be able to talk about the film today without crying. So I have to give the film kudos there for tugging at the heartstrings. I did not expect that from Furious 7.
No.
We're trying to stay polite here.
So let's mark it.
Okay.
Mike.
I've just realized as we're talking here what my major problem with this franchise is the cars. Because I've always seen it as a car movie thing.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Remember Point Break?
Yeah.
That's the same movie, except with surfers.
Yeah.
Does that make it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I always kind of had this little churn in my stomach when I thought of Fast and Furious, because it was just another fucking car movie.
With 24 gears.
Yeah. But this one, it's less car emphasis.
Yeah.
And more expendables.
Yeah.
And, it's got Jason Statham, it's got The Rock, it's got, so many great people in it who are just doing action stuff in an old-fashioned way, the way it's supposed to be done.
Bullets. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow.
Yeah. Did not see that coming, did you,
Didn't
Steve?
see that coming at all. Wow. Sean.
I did not see that coming. No, I did not. I'm actually going to go a step lower than that. Simply because I don't think it was as good as Fast 5, which is to date my favorite movie in the whole thing. I think it's the best, most self-contained, straightforward plot, bad guy chase good guy, or somebody chases good guy and they steal stuff. I'm going to give it a 6. I think it's a very good installment of the series, but I'm going to give it a 6.
Lovely. 6. Shauna.
The movie didn't quite live up to the hype of what I had heard for Furious 7. It was kind of a lot of beefcake and meathead type fodder. But there were some really fun action sequences, cars dropping out of planes, The Rock fighting Jason Statham. And I thought those things were awesome. So as long as you can leave your mind at the door and not ask how people falling off cliffs doesn't kill them, I'd say you could also give it a very enjoyable 6.
I'm with you on the 6 because it's a fantasy action movie, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we said, it is a mindless action movie. So yeah, it's going to be a 6.
I cannot fucking believe I
know-
gave it the highest mark.
I know, neither can I.
Now
but-
you're not going to live this down. Right? That just overshadowed the fact that the film made me cry.
One last thing before we go, and I didn't expect this. The movie had a really coherent visual style. Did you guys notice that the camera kept, whenever they used to get knocked down in particular ways, sometimes the camera would roll with them?
Yeah, I
would-
did. Yeah, I
would
really
fall as
liked
they
that.
fell?
Yeah.
That was well done. They
It
had
was.
great action choreography, but we're actually going to try and film it in an interesting way. They didn't even need to do that, but they did. Like, I appreciated that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they did it about 3 times, didn't they?
Yeah, and it was like cohesive. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I liked that it was a thing they carried through.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have second of our TV, which is Weird Loners. Weird Loners is about 4 relationship-phobic people who are unexpectedly thrust into one another's lives and form an unlikely bond in a townhouse in Queens in New York, says IMDb. And they are right, you know. That's exactly what it's about.
That's totally what this episode is about.
This has quite a hilarious opening scene, I think, where it goes around, it talks about the background of the people involved, and it progresses from there in a hilarious manner. I think this is quite a funny show. I enjoyed it. I'll watch more. Anyone else agree or disagree?
That's the quickest review.
I just thought I'd get straight to
That
the point.
sounds like
with
the
this
most
one.
unenthusiastic way to say you like a show I've ever
No,
heard.
you know what? This was great.
I'm
fun.
not buying what you're selling, Steve.
Yeah.
You have to sell it
I
harder.
know. Yeah. No,
Steve,
this,
Deadpan Wrigley.
Yeah. This was great fun. It was 20,
Once
25
again with
minutes of
feelings.
hilarity. Yeah, it was hilarious. I really enjoyed it.
I really liked this show.
Yeah.
It was funny and I laughed.
Yeah, thanks for putting this in the list, Sean. This is one I'll be following up with, for sure.
I'm glad. To be honest, what I did was I realized that 3 of the 4 people in this are from cancelled shows that I have watched and liked, and then they were cancelled. The ex-addict kind of Lothario business guy character is from a show called Happy Endings, which was an amazing 3-season show with a somewhat similar plot. You know, the classic 30-somethings looking to find love and good work.
Sean, before you continue.
And then his cousin, the guy who needs to live his own life
delay?
because he's really just been...
Is there a delay?
What?
Yeah, Sean, before you continue, maybe switch off your video because you're still...
Your audio is shite.
Your audio is really shit, man. Yeah. Thanks for putting it so
Sorry,
eloquently.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't tell that when that's happening.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I don't think your tablet's Wi-Fi is as
Video
fast
off.
as your laptop's.
I don't know, it's been
Much better.
class for everything else. I don't know why.
I think it's just when it's video and audio, maybe.
Yeah, it's an instant improvement, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you still see
Right.
us?
Yeah, I can see you guys fine.
And we've got a picture of you frozen here anyway, so it's pretty much the same thing. So go for it.
All right, cool. I'll go ahead and just do the rundown of the characters.
Right.
There's the kind of perhaps immoral, perhaps amoral Lothario guy who used to be on a show called Happy Endings that I loved. And then there's his cousin who he moves in with who kind of hasn't lived his own life yet because he's been taking care of his parents. And, well, he doesn't have that to do anymore. And that guy's on a show called Mr. Sunshine with Matthew Perry that got cancelled. He was also on a show called Sunset Strip, Matthew Perry that got cancelled. And then there is, you might even remember her, the blonde lady who's on the verge of marriage because it makes sense rather than for love or passion, was in the Goodwin Games,
That's
which was a
Oh, yeah,
show
yeah.
which we watched, and that got cancelled. And then there's a stoner who we see leaving her longtime boyfriend because, like sometimes love just ends. It's the way of the world. She's like hippy
It's going
dippy,
well.
and it's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the characters, and I thought they were all good performances.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah, I think the show does a good job of kind of feeling unique. I don't feel like I've seen this show before, even though it's not necessarily a very unique concept of, like you were saying, Sean, 30-somethings all kind of wondering what they're going to do with their lives. And each of the characters, although quirky and weird, as the title would suggest, are also likable in strange ways.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like I think visually the way that they set it up in the beginning. When you see, they're doing an intro to weird loners, that they can be attractive, intelligent people, but they somehow just end up alone, and they're showing pictures of stills of classrooms from primary school, and then it shows each of the students kind of eventually grow up and find love and marriage, but then there's always one who doesn't. And then they switch from the picture of them in primary school to them as an adult, and gives a quick background on each of the main weird loners' background, which is, I think, it's a good introduction to each of the characters. It's snappy, it's short, it's concise. You know who they are and where they come from and why they're weird. You're kind of in their corner. Then you need them to meet. Then they do meet. The episode's over. Bada boom, bada bing. Pilot done.
Very good, Mike. Yeah. Jeez, we're steaming through this, Mike.
Well, my first reaction when I saw this was, what asshole put this on the list as a fucking dig at Mike? In the opening, I thought, oh, Christ, is this going to be another fucking American sitcom that we've seen 100 times?
Yeah. Me too.
Set in New York, fucking some friends sitting around having
Yeah.
some coffee on a couch and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And the characters, as they came in, I wasn't 100% bought in. They were kind of, okay, we're ticking off boxes here. But once they got to meet each other, I thought the chemistry was brilliant between them. They really fed off each other in the interactive scenes. So I thought it actually stepped up a level from what you expect from your regular sitcom pilots that we've pretty much 40 a season, on this show.
Yeah.
So I really, really liked it. I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed the interaction between the characters. I think there's a lot of potential for all kinds of shenanigans going forward. So yeah, definitely going to watch more of this.
Mm-hmm. I like that they're all really very amoral, but you still kind of side with them. You have a girl who's obviously dating. In just one scene, they show they're in a stable relationship. Yeah. He really loves her, and she's trying to sneak out, with her bags, and she's like, "All right, I'm just going to the shop," and he's looking down. He's like, "All right, when are we back?" And she's like, "Never." He looks up, and he's just like, "Wait, are you leaving me?" And she's like, yeah. How come? I thought this was going so well. You can see he's heartbroken. She's like, yeah, no, bye. And then you have the woman who's about to get married, and she's, starting fucking around with somebody else. Has no qualms about it. It's just and then, who is it? Not Blondie. Who am I missing? Oh yeah, the guy whose dad died. Yeah. And it's just 5 minutes later, he's walking down the street smiling at everyone he meets. And he's just anyways, yeah, it's a bunch of people kind of reacting to normal situations very strangely, but it makes them quite endearing. Mm-hmm. But it also makes you kind of wonder what else they're going to get up to. So I think there's a good recipe for disaster there.
On that point, Shona, one of my favorite moments in the episode that I was so surprised they could get away with it, and I'd still like the character, when the kind of sex crazed guy and the fiancé lady are flirting, he's an asshole to her. He's actually a prick. At one point he goes, "Here, make yourself useful." And he just directs her to go start chopping vegetables.
Yeah.
And he's clearly negging her to try and make her win his approval from that book, The Game, or how to look like a douchebag and have everyone realize you are one.
Yes.
Yeah. And I still like this guy. He's a fucking asshole. Because he was so smooth about it. When he moves in with his cousin, you know what I mean? He's just been kicked out of his apartment. He's lost his job because he was having sex with his boss's wife and providing her with drugs. And then he's just like, "Oh, your dad died? Buddy, if you need me to come stay here for a while, I can do that." And he's like, "Oh, really? That'd be great." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Rent-free in New York. Congratulations." And he's figured it all out. Yeah. I'm really invested in them not ever ending up with anyone, which is the perfect way to set up a TV show for as many seasons as they want. Because obviously, any relationships they have fail or end somehow, they have to. They can't be happy. Yeah. They're broken. There's something broken in them, and it reflects the broken things that there are in all of us, particularly me. Why am I alone? Which I think was perfect. Friends was about, friends hanging out with each other and finding love. And this is about people who can't fucking do that. And a lot of people who are watching TV all the fucking time are like that, or at least worry that they're.
Yeah.
But one thing that really worries me is that when we see a show like this with a lot of potential, it's almost guaranteed to be cancelled. I mean, we put the hex on so many promising shows over the last couple of years.
Yeah, the fact there's no laugh track isn't going to help it, and that's I think it makes it. But
Yeah, good riddance to the laugh track.
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely got huge potential. I think this one. It could turn out to be one of those dirty little secret kind of things that you watch. Did you watch this? No. But it's kind of good.
It feels kind of very natural, doesn't it, for a TV program? Like the characters all make sense.
Yeah.
They fit into the world that's been painted. It doesn't feel like a pilot where they're trying to throw too much information at you or nothing's been fleshed out yet. Like you feel like you're just stepping into their world. Yeah. And you're kind of, like you said, Sean, you're hoping that they never find happiness because that would be awesome. I think, Sean, one of the barometers now for all the sitcoms I watch is your test of could they make 100 episodes of it, and they could do that for this show. There's a lot more to come here, so
I really hope we're looking back on season 10 one of the days.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Do I detect a thriller all around?
It could possibly be.
Oh my goodness.
thrillers.
Could we just quickly review what were all the marks that we gave? We gave this all thriller, if I'm understanding the room correctly. We gave Spotless. You three guys gave it all thriller as well, right? Even though you all said,
Yeah.
a bit worried about it, but the last 10 minutes were great. And then we gave Furious 7
6s and a 7.
Except Mike, who gave it a 7.
But
so
that's a positive.
Mike's,
That's
it's positive,
yeah.
but Mike's 7 for Furious 7 ensures that we are not on a streak.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that one. I want to be here for one, so I'm just going to pretend that it's all good and fine.
And we hang on. It's not over till we've done the previews.
Oh yeah. So speaking of which,
it's like when you go into a restaurant to do the challenge to eat the 72-ounce steak, and you get through it, and then the bastard at the bar says you have to eat the fat as well. That's the previews.
The previews are the fat on the steak.
Now that we know what Mike did this weekend, can we
right.
move on and look at it?
So, as I said, speaking of which, next up we've got some previews and Coming to a Bicycle near you. Okay, the first one was especially for Shona. It's called Amy. It was about Amy Winehouse. It's the documentary.
Yes.
Tearjerker.
Looks really
Straight out of the
sad.
box.
Didn't
Actually,
make me
it looks
cry.
really interesting. I can't
It
wait
looks
for this.
good.
Yeah. It
And
does
it's
look
brought
like a
it's
tearjerker.
brought to us by the same team that did Senna, which was also a very good documentary.
Yes, so we're guaranteed to have loads and loads of footage.
It's interesting to see the kind of background of, they're going to go explore, from whence Amy Winehouse came and her rise to fame, and I'm sure her struggles with addiction and her eventual death, and it probably will make me cry. The trailer did not make me cry, so fuck you, Steve.
Well, that's a win. That's a
I,
win.
I still won.
I tried so hard. So what do you think of this?
Not a fucking chance. I'm
Come
watching
on,
this shite.
Mike. I think, you see, you just said the same about Senna.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I've no interest in Amy Winehouse. I've no interest in her music. I couldn't give a rat's ass about her death. So why am I going to watch
You
a
know
movie
what?
about her?
Replace Amy Winehouse with Senna, and that's what Mark would have said. And he absolutely loved Senna. So I'd say give it a chance, man. Because, they've done Senna, which was remarkable. So...
Yeah. But, like, I could watch reruns of the A-Team or something instead.
Sean, did you see this?
I did. It was actually a really gripping trailer. I thought that the way that just everything about the trailer was incredibly well done. Like the sequencing of the clips, the way that they moved them about to construct a portrait of Amy Winehouse's face.
Yeah.
And the actual line, I never knew she actually ever said, "No, I don't think I'm going to be famous. If I was famous, I'd probably go crazy." I I didn't know she said that. And also, the way they used her music, like just her voice.
Yes.
Like, black. Just saying that like 3 times to tell you when the movie's coming out. Oh, it was an incredibly well-made trailer. And if the guys who made the trailer are indeed the guys making the documentary, then it could look really, really amazing throughout. I would hate, having seen the trailer, for it to be just a really basic, here are clips of her, here's some narration from some people that knew her, and now it's over. Like, I would hate for that to be a generic documentary style. I want there to be the same visual and aural flair that was in this trailer to be throughout the documentary. Yeah. Do it in 70 minutes, and then make everybody fucking cry and send them home somehow happy.
Yeah.
Inspired, perhaps.
Inspired. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
Thanks, Mike. Love
Thanks,
you.
Mike. Love you too. Okay, the next one we saw was The Walk. So, who's going to tell us about this?
I will. The Walk stars Jason Bateman and his wife. Well, his on-screen wife.
That's the gift.
The gift.
Oh, fuck.
Tell us about the gift then. We'll come back to it.
Tell us about the gift.
Tell us about the gift. You're halfway there.
The gift stars Jason Bateman and his on-screen wife,
Jason Statham.
Rebecca Hull.
Rebecca Hull.
Rebecca Hull. Yeah. Jason Statham.
And Jason Bateman one day runs into an old classmate who he doesn't really remember. Connections are tied again, and they come back into each other's lives. And this guy, the high school friend Gordo, keeps leaving creepy gifts on their doorstep, and eventually this becomes a friendship that they have to explicitly tell him that they don't want. But surprise, that doesn't matter because he's around and he's going to be friends with them whether they like it or not. So he leaves them gifts, and looks like violence and scariness escalates with this friend from the past. However, the trailer leaves us with the twist that maybe Jason Bateman has something to do with it, and he's not as innocent as he
seems. Yeah,
what's going to happen? You'll have to watch the movie.
The guy who plays the creepy friend, Joel Edgerton, I think he looks great.
Yeah.
In a kind of a John Cusack-y, creepy kind of way.
He looks generic yet creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the missus in Last Days on Mars? Was one of the scientists?
It's Rebecca Hull.
Yeah. Was she in Last Days on Mars?
I don't think
How is that your question? Like, this is such a specific... Just wanted to ask about the trailer. Just a quick question about the trailer. Do you remember Last Days on Mars? Do you remember... Were any of these from that? Because that's class.
She was in Transcendence. That's where we saw her last.
Right.
Yeah. Not the Last Days on Mars. Yeah.
Yeah. This looks cool.
You think so?
Yeah. Creepy fucker.
Yeah.
Bad shit
It's a
happening.
bit of a thriller, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think if it's paced well, it's going to be good. Jason Bateman is like trying to diversify, I think, a bit more.
Yeah, it's nice to see him not in a comedic role.
Yeah, and he's well able to. Like, he's going to act the shit out of this. If he does go full psycho, it'll be reminiscent of when Vince Vaughn made like 3 movies in a row where he was like a creepy dude that people were like afraid of him, and he kept marrying their wives and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if Jason Bateman can do a serious, oh, this guy's creepy, we have to get rid of him. Actually, no, I'm creepy, and I'm going to beat the shit out of you if you keep talking about it. I'll be interested to see that.
I really like that angle in the trailer that, like, it looks, for about 3/4 of the trailer, it looks like Jason Bateman and his wife, Rebecca Hull, are victims to this really creepy guy.
Yeah.
But then the last part of the trailer makes you think, like, oh, wait, no, is actually the creepy guy Jason Bateman? Because there's these secrets he's keeping from his wife, and she's saying, I don't even know you. And it turns out he might be the bad guy.
Holy shit, there's a whole new level.
That could be cool to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Would actually, yeah. Because he's always the nice guy, the frustrated but yet hilarious kind of guy, yeah. Okay, the last one we saw was The Walk, which is the cinematic storytelling of the... What was the documentary?
Man on Wire.
Man on Wire, yeah. So this stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Benedict Samuel. And, tells the story of the dude who wants to walk across a tightrope between the Twin Towers.
Does Benedict Samuel play the rope?
Philippe Petit was his name, as I remember.
Yeah.
Who didn't come across that well in Man on Wire.
No, he
as
did
I
not.
remember as well, yeah.
I think asshole is the word.
Yeah.
What was unlikable about him in that?
He was just totally self-obsessed.
Yeah.
Did not give a shite about the impact of his actions upon the people around him.
Or his loved ones.
Like how so?
Like
Like he didn't? Were they worried about him and he didn't care?
they absolutely were worried about him, and he didn't give a rat's ass. You know, it's just like, yeah fuck them. You know.
Huh.
Yeah. But he still expected, not only expected, but demanded their support and respect and financial.
So he's a narcissist.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Dick.
Ben Kingsley is also in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is he the Wire?
I'm not sure when this is out. Actually, it's.
We don't care, do we?
You know what?
Who gives a shit?
No, I think I do want to see this.
Really?
Yeah.
Explain.
No, I know the story, but from it's the trailer sucked me in. Like I was just like, yeah, know the story, I've seen the documentary, blah, blah. But when I saw him in the trailer doing what he was doing, standing on the edge, I was sort of going, yeah, I think I want to see this because I was getting like serious vertigo.
Yeah, that's going to be hard for people afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And that's going to be out in 3D as well.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like,
Oh my
IMAX
God.
3D. I was like, I'm so going to this.
It's like a new form of thriller, having to watch movies made at a height for those afraid of heights. It's terrifying.
Will you watch this, Sean? Oh, sorry. Go on, Sean.
No, I was just going to say that as soon
Will I watch it?
Yeah, will you watch it?
I'll watch it if you make me. Otherwise, there's wire, there's two buildings, the guy walks on it. Don't give a shit. I'll go on YouTube if I want to see that.
Okay. Sorry, Sean. You were saying.
I was going to say that, like, as soon as I saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Levitt, yeah.
His hair and makeup was really good because immediately I could tell who he was. You know, the character he was playing, that French guy. He even looks French. They've transformed him into a francophone.
There's the cravat and the bunch of garlic around his. Yeah.
Peut-être, qui sait. Yeah, but I'm with Sean on this. Like, I never watched Man on Wire because I didn't care about it, and I don't care about the film, so not going to happen.
Fair enough.
And also, I don't want to watch films that are going to give me vertigo, so that's a big, red cross.
He's so class with it, like a VR headset or something. Do you imagine?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring some Xanax with you to the theater.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think that's all we have for this week. So from Mike, Shona, Steve, and Sean, stay classy.